So for this video, I'm going to talk and you're going to see some of my older videos playing in the background. But yeah, I'm just going to be freestyling. So I'm essentially staring down like very rough stacked odds. So if I don't get good at like trading on the stock market, then I'm going to be like utterly screwed, or either that or YouTube. So if none of those work out, then I'm royally fucked. So for context, I lost my job on June 18th and it paid all the bills, but I had a lot of expenses associated with that. And I'm going to explain because I did apply for several jobs. So first was Papa John's. Now, I'm not going to explain you the specific process, but I applied to be a manager because I said I should be a manager by now with all the years of experience working in food. And they said, we have a position open for shift lead, and for shift lead, which is like $14 an hour because I applied there last time, or a driver. And that was some BS because I don't even have a car. So he was supposed to call me back later, but then I called him back and he said, oh, it didn't even slip. It slipped my mind. And then, yeah, and they said apply to a whole nother Papa John's because he had to call his upper management to confirm if their location was looking for shift leads or anything like that. And they were not. So they had to redirect me after he forgot to call me back. So yeah, I applied there, but it was like further away. So it's just like, and the process of me getting hired is just like, they didn't even reach out to me, I don't believe. And then comes Taco Bell. Now, I applied there to be a shift lead and stuff like that. I went in for an interview, took an Uber there, and I went up there to the front desk and asked them for an interview. Then he to let the team know that he was going to do the interview. And I confirmed with him multiple times. I said out loud, so the shift lead is $15 an hour. And he was like, I believe so. It depends on experience, but usually it starts at 14. And then I finished that interview and I was about to take an Uber to McDonald's. Now, he gave me a paper with someone's name on it, and I kept in contact because this person on the sheet of paper was the manager. So I saved their number, got in touch with them. And then I don't even know the whole process. I called them, I texted them one time, and then they said, oh, we can't process your shift lead, and then you have to reapply again. So then I applied again online. I already applied. I texted her that I applied for the regular shift lead. So I applied for the overnight shift lead. And then after that, I texted her of that, and she hadn't responded. Now, I believe before that whole process, at some point I had called her on one of the days where she was in, and I said, can you, well, I think after that, I said, can you check the overnight application? And she said, yeah, I'll be here. It's busy today. I'll be here until midnight. And then I called around 10:30 p.m. and she didn't even like answer. And I might have called the day after as well. Next day, I called the restaurant and had to have her look at the application, but she hadn't reached out to me. I called and a dude picked up, and then I told him that about the manager that was there. But at some point, she hadn't reached out to me in a week. So I actually texted her something along the lines of, I'm no longer interested in the position. I'm removing this conversation and turning off further notifications. So basically I had blocked her. And yeah, so while we're on the subject of pay, hey, let me just say in the middle of this that like if I can get good at day trading, the goal is like a modest $200 a day, which would like anything less than that would not even be able to get me up off my seat and do DoorDash or any of that. Because I was making like, for DoorDash, like an 8-hour shift, I was making $15 an hour, like $120 a day. But I also had to pay for gas and like pay for so many other expenses associated with that. So man, and that's only going to scale up. It's going to start out at like a small amount. Then I'll be making 500,000 a day, whatever. That's the type of mobility you're not going to get with these type of local freaking bogus jobs. And for context, last year I lost my job on summer, like from May 7th to June 6th for about a month. Started learning about day trading this year in February 2025 with no thought that I would like be sent away without a job again. But I was telling people that I did plan on leaving because I really did plan on going day trading full time before I got prematurely kicked off of DoorDash before I was even ready to get removed. So, but all I would have needed was one more month. But yeah, in July, like this month, I realized if I can get trading right, it'll be way more because like I've been doing it for DoorDash for years and I'm no further ahead this year than last year, like still 1 month and I'm still like having to take out loans. So yeah, that shit is done. And by the way, we might as well call that place Taco Hell. But anyway, so let's move on. After this Taco Bell interview, same day, I took an Uber to McDonald's for an interview on the same day. And I'm about an hour early and the guy tells me she's not fucking in. So, and she's not going to be in. Like, she left for the day. The woman who's supposed to be there, and she said this bigger dude, he told me that it automatically schedules. Like, I scheduled it through the website. Like, the website asked me what day works for me, and I told them the time, and I guess the physical storefront did not know about it, which is like bull crap. Is like they're not managing stuff well. It's not my responsibility to like call and check in because I scheduled it on the official site. So that's fuck all. So yeah, I actually, the Uber was still there, but she was leaving, so I rescheduled it, and she came back and she was like, "Oh yeah," and yeah, all of that stuff. So I actually called later that same day and multiple times, and the same guy picked up, and I was like, "You guys keep ignoring my calls. I had an interview scheduled today, and I'm not coming in tomorrow. So we're doing a phone interview because I'm not coming in tomorrow. You guys, I'm not going to have you guys waste my time again." And he was like, "Yeah, okay, sure." He was like, "Yes, sir. We'll go ahead and do that." Also for like DoorDash and like the original stuff that I was doing, I tried getting my job back and called 200 plus times within the first week or 2 weeks, almost up to 3 weeks of me losing that gig. So after that, Burger King. So the hiring man, I applied to all the positions, um, shift lead, like manager, assistant manager, general manager, all that other stuff, team member, and all that. And after that, I called the morning after, and the hiring manager was out. And the guy on the phone told me to call back tomorrow. Found a hiring manager, and she told me since I am trying to become a manager, that's what I told her I preferred. And it paid about $15 an hour. She told me to call the next day for a specific guy who handles manager applications. And I found out he was out on bereavement, and this was like Thursday or going into a weekend at some point. And this rigmarole went on for 3 or 4 days in a row, or I think they told me he was going to be that told me he was not going to be there. So there was one day where I did not call. I think I don't even care about the process anymore. I don't even care to remember it. But I called the original guy, then a woman, and I kept asking for this one guy by first and last name, and nobody could track him down. And fast forward the beginning of the next week, the same guy from that I originally called picks up again, and this is my second time talking to him, going all the way around. And I actually told him audibly, "I'm done with this wild goose chase. But you guys can either call me or I'm no longer interested," like something to that effect. And then I remember not even last year, earlier in January, my car got stuck in some snow, and I'm like, I'm so done driving through Midwestern snow and how cold that shit was. Man, no more commute. You can have that. You can keep that. I'll be done with all that and making my own money, making way more than when I was spending money on 18 different things just to maintain like a vehicle and just like do the job and stuff, and making way less money. I'll be making way more money with way almost damn near no expenses. I applied to a local crew car wash, and I had already completed the application. I called them, and they said you can apply for this place again, but they told me that the headquarters is like in a different city, not super far away. So I applied to that crew car wash and the other one down the street. They told me that they're always looking for new people since they're planning to open up a lot of new locations. So I told him that I'm open to working to that one or the one down the street. So yeah, that one pays $15 an hour, which is marketably higher, and they were offering 40 hours. But again, that's nothing to what I plan to be making just working from home with no gas payments and like plus no more driving through Midwestern snow. And additionally, you have no clue how many remote jobs I applied to, and there was a lot where my spidey sense was already going off, my Miles Morales spidey senses, because a lot of them were talking. As soon as I see sales, I walk away. So that's not guaranteed pay. Yeah, and you have no idea how many remote jobs where like you get that one email, and first off, I already know that it's gonna go south. I already know I've been turned away. But you skip that first paragraph full of formalities and corporate jargon, and you see that the second paragraph starts with "unfortunately." Like you already know what that is, and I automatically knew it was going to be one of those letters. And there was one that was promising me remote stuff. They actually moved forward, but I read the fine print and saw that they wanted me to pay for equipment at some point. And I fell for that scam last year when I was searching for jobs. Like that other company pretending to be Fujifilm, a poorly rendered image of the company and stuff like that. And it was just a random name. And they sent me a check through USPS. I tried to process it through my online app on my phone, but it didn't work. So I physically went to my bank, and the bank warned me this account could your bank account could be closed since it's a bad check. And I had this bank for like forever, so I didn't lose any money, but I remained vigilant after that. That was my first exposure to that type of weird scam stuff. And I'm just trying to look for a job. That's what happened to me last year. So the company I was talking to a few weeks ago was the one and only email that at least pretended to accept me for a remote position. I looked up the company and called them. They didn't recognize the email or stuff, but they said it could be legitimate. I told them there were absolutely no spelling mistakes. However, the red flag for me was them saying I would pay for equipment. I was looking all over Reddit and stuff, and the whole pay for equipment thing. Listen, Apple will send you the stuff, and there was another place last year that was telling me to come to a facility, but at some point the position had already been filled, so they told me to scrap it last year. But they'll physically give you the equipment. They're not going to make you pay for it, but up front when you haven't even worked a day yet. So I emailed this suspicious email back, and I was asking, hey, can I get on a call with someone to make sure it's a legitimate offer? Which, if it is, the company would have no problem reaching out to me since they know there's lots of scams out there. But to this day, as far as I know, they haven't responded in many weeks. So that's a dud. And yeah, that's pretty much been it. So I just kind of throw my hands up. This is something I can do all the time when I'm at home and I'm not being managed, and I can just make money and just like do my thing. Right. And plus I'll probably be ordering stuff from Amazon, groceries and stuff. And my sentiment is that I'm going to be like profitable, that I'll be okay. I'll do good. I've been through so much, man. And I'm so glad I spent several months getting good at this, even with no prior warning that I'll be removed from like what I used to do. And that shit was hard anyway. I kept saying to myself, man, I'm so sick of doing this gig stuff. I need to get good at the stock market because I didn't like doing DoorDash. I was doing it for money, and I made a lot of great friends, but I had to drop that abruptly since the company like dropped me abruptly. So, but the funny thing is, I already knew I was leaving soon, so I was telling people that I was leaving. So, yeah, it would have been nice if I had one more month on the app, but yeah, I'm ready to rock and roll tomorrow.